is that you be true to what you wrote on paper. The Bill of Rights was for all of us. When it gave equality, it didn't give equality to short people or tall people, black or brown. It gave it to all of us. And for some reason, our judicial system doesn't seem to recognize that truth. So when he said be true to what you wrote on paper, that is what we are asking. Every single day when we stand up and we fight against the tragedies that Trayvon Martin and his family experienced, and all of us that are Trayvons. What am I supposed to tell my son? Don't walk a certain way. Be careful about how you carry yourself when you're around a neighborhood maybe you're not familiar with, or maybe they don't recognize you. Somewhere I read that this equality that we talk about in this great nation was for all of us. So let's be proud as we continue this fight. Let's be proud as we continue to move in the direction of equality for everyone. And let's let them know that we're fighting this fight not because we need to know this. We know we're free. We know we're equal. We're fighting this fight because we got to somehow let the people who don't recognize that become aware that this freedom is extended to all of us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Las Vegas.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Las Vegas Urban League is alive and well in our community. We also want to thank Mr. Kevin Hooks and the entire Las Vegas Urban League for their sponsorship to help put this event on as well. So, Mr. Hooks, thank you again for your sponsorship. We really appreciate that. The community is coming together one way or another. We're going to come together, and this time we're going to stay linked up, ladies and gentlemen. With no further ado, I want to bring another gentleman up who I've seen in the forefront of the injustices of what's taking place in our community. I've seen him doing some incredible things, and he definitely cares. Now he represents another brand. He's with the National Association for Education. Please give it up for my man, Mr. Gary Peck, to the microphone.
It'd be hard for me to overstate how honored and privileged I feel being invited to be here to speak to this group, being invited here to speak to the cause of justice, racial equality, rights for everybody, regardless of their color, regardless of their religion, regardless of their ethnicity, regardless of their gender, regardless of their sexual orientation. I'm here speaking for 24,000 educators in the state of Nevada. The people who drive the buses, who serve the food, who maintenance the machinery and the landscaping, who are paraprofessionals, clericals, and who are teachers here in our state. Like every single person here, our hearts are broken. Trayvon belongs to the community, and he belongs to the people who toil every day to teach the members of our community, to give them a chance to succeed in life. And no child and no person should have to fear for their safety, walking on public streets and public sidewalks doing nothing but heading home carrying a bag of candy. That is wrong. We can debate these issues forever. The laws need to change. The criminal justice system needs to change. The education system needs to change. Our society, blacks, whites, reds, yellows, men, women, straight, gay, Christians, Jews, Muslims. We all need to work arm in arm to make sure that change happens. And the people here today will be leaders in that movement. I grew up in Washington, D.C. I was there when Martin Luther King led that march on Washington. We have made progress, but we have a long way to go. Thank you all for giving me a chance to be here to represent on behalf of our educators and to represent on behalf of every person who cares about decency, fairness, and justice for everyone.
This is the last take for the night. Understand it's kinda late, and I gotta get home to my son. He's so special to me.
All right, thank you, Mr. Peck, man. Incredible words of encouragement and motivation. All right, also want to give a shout out to my man DJ Thump over there in the morning, Mayhem Power 88, for keeping this thing going. Mayhem in the AM, baby. Man, this thing is just connected. God, say it again, sir. That's right, baby. All right, moving right ahead. Also, a product of this community. Definitely understand the tough times that we've had to endure in this community. And of course, when you guys come through, those that are not from our fair city, and you see all the lights, and you see the opulence, and you see all the money, and you see that there's a lot of people that look like you and I that are part of that. Because there's a designation in our community. Once you go right up under the underpass, the lights go out. One thing I want to tell you guys too about the little thunderstorm or the high pressure wash that we had yesterday. I know many of you guys are here and had to endure through the night with no lights. But you came and you made it here, and I want to thank you guys for being a part of this thing. And also, again, I want to share with you guys, everything you do in your life is about perspective. Perspective is, last night your lights went out, but your vision went up. Your senses went up. So sometime when the light goes out, the senses go up. Because you got more focus when your lights went out last night. You start looking for candles and feeling yourself around, so your keen sense of awareness kicked in. So ladies and gentlemen, it was all preparation for today. It was all preparation for today. So again, the young lady that I'm bringing to the microphone, she's going to, again, give you guys some encouragement, some motivations, and some expressions. She's one of our representatives in our legislature. She's from this community, born and raised. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Assemblywoman District 7, Dina Neal.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to try to adjust this mic so I can make sure that I reach everybody all the way in the back. And I'm a little hoarse, so yeah. My speech is going to be, I'm going to talk to you a little bit, and then a portion of it is going to be kind of like a call and response, because I have a to-do list of things that I need us to do. But I wanted to talk, and I want to put a framework out there. This nation has perfected a pattern of human and racial injustice and labeled it criminal profiling. We have a nation that still feels awkward in its racial context, even though it shares it with blacks, browns, and yellow people. We live in a nation that does not share our reality, even when we say our subjective human perspective, whether it be black or brown, they say it's not real. They say Trayvon was criminally profiled, and it wasn't specifically race. Race was only one of the factors. They say, but I ask myself, what made a 17-year-old a criminal at 7 p.m. walking in the rain with a hoodie on? What made him dangerous? Was it the Skittles in his pocket? I had to ask myself, what was it about this human being that provoked a confrontation that ended up in the death of a black teenager? Why are we looking to villainize Trayvon and to make our hearts feel that a child who smoked weed deserved death, when we had a president who said he smoked but didn't inhale? over Trayvon? Why did he feel he owned this neighborhood and Trayvon had no right to enter into it? Where did that come from? Was that rooted in some historical context? And I said, yes, it had to be. It had to be rooted in fear. It had to be rooted in housing discrimination, that somehow a black male entrant was an indication of criminal activity and the degradation of a neighborhood. Because if it wasn't for that historical context, then what was it? And then I have to ask myself the question, why was this national commentary going on about our vocabulary? We didn't create the word Negro. We didn't write it on our birth certificates. We were classified as niggas. It was a vocabulary given to us, and we took this subtle use of oppression and we managed to use that term to survive and even triumph. But as a nation and as a people, it is very difficult to change the vocabulary that was attributed to you and to us, and that a nation that failed to educate us equally, and how our dialect performed a slow evolution, but yet that dialect didn't make us less than a human being. The display of it on the trial exacerbated the fact that we do not have a shared culture, that we do not share the same reality, although we live in the same community. That somehow when we listened to Rachel Gentile, we completely understood her dialect. Whether we spoke it or not, we understood her under-education. That she struggled not to speak slang on the stand and on CNN last night. And that when she was, because she struggled because she was trying to speak correct English. And I say this to you because we have to identify what were the clear issues that were present on the national level, but those aren't the only issues. There was a sub-issue that we need to address amongst ourselves. And it's equally as important as that. And don't get mad at me, but I have to ask yourself, I have to ask you, and I have to ask myself. We have watched our brothers kill our brothers. We have lived in a nation.
Watch our brothers kill our brothers.
They said we're going to stop that.
Think about it. Think about it. Go ahead.
It's all right. All right now.
Take your time.
All right.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I have to start that sentence over. We have watched our brothers kill our brothers, and we have lived in a nation where we watched and we cried, but was the pain different? Was it different? It was still the death of our sons, yet by a different hand. But somewhere in our sight, the loss of life by a white hand has historical significance. I don't disagree with that, and it bears out a deeper pain. It does. But there came a point in this conversation with myself where I had to ask, and I had to stop asking questions, and I had to think about the solutions. How do we work to create a shared America, a shared society that understands our perspective and realize that the solution was the same when Frederick Douglass was around, when Carter G. Woodson was around, when Martin Luther King was around, and Malcolm X. The solution is not different. It's been in front of us since the emancipation. So I had to think, and this is where the call and response comes in, because I need you to get to the point where you are sick and tired. And you have to ask yourself, if you are sick and tired, number one, are you sick and tired enough that you're going to change the outcome of being being treated less than a human being? And number two, are you sick and tired of another group of people having their rights asserted over you? And number three, if you really want the law to have equal application to your life, regardless of whether or not it's black or white, a victim is black or white, you have to be ready to do the same war cry for Trayvon for yourself. That's right. We have a rate of death in our community, no matter whose hand in it, it is astounding. And I am sickened by the justice system that doesn't see the value of black and brown children, that doesn't see our humanity. And I need you to be frustrated to the highest degree and wish for a different result. But you have to ask yourself, is it enough? Are you really, really finished with the current reality and ready to change? Do you really, really want to see an America that is inclusive of you within its policies and laws? Do you want to see a Nevada that is inclusive of you in its policies and laws? And if your answer is yes, then I have a to-do list for you. It's not going to be easy because you're going to have to be consistent not just for this month. You're going to have to be consistent for the next 6 months, the next 12 months, the next 18 months. And it's going to take you believing that you are a leader and a helper. Not looking for one because you are one. It's going to take you girding yourself up with information as if you are stocking up your kitchen with food. It's going to take you voting in the next election when the majority of the judges and the elected officials are up for election. And to actively push and engage them and to stay informed and to show up at every political and social event as if it was as equal to the war cry for Trayvon's death. Because all of these things are equally as serious. They equally determine your destiny. They equally apply to your life. They equally apply to your education. They equally apply to your child's safety. And if you never want to attend a funeral that was caused because of the travesty of profiling a young black male, you will transform immediately. And you will go register to vote to make sure you are selected in the next jury pool. And when you get a notice at your house, you're going to show up and you're going to make sure that the law which says that a cross-reference of the community exists in that jury. So we don't have to ask, why did a white woman not understand my black child's perspective? And so what I'm going to need you to do on Monday, if you're not registered and you're of age and you're 18 and you, for some reason, didn't believe that this process could make change, that you're going to show up at the Clark County Election Department and you're going to register. That from this day, you're going to move forward and you're going to make sure that nothing but death can move you from changing this society, changing it for a better destiny for your children's life. And if you're wondering, where do I go for change? What can I do for change? You attend, and I will post a list every week at West Las Vegas Library of meetings you can attend. I know for a fact that on August 12th at 5 p.m. at the Legislative Building on Washington Street, that we will be holding a Southern Nevada Enterprise Community, and I chair the committee, and we are going to be looking for 2 social justice issues that we can make a concrete outcome and solution for in 12 to 18 months. And I would love to see you there at 5 p.m. and to fill that room. And thank you.
All right, we want to thank you, Assemblywoman Dina Neal. Give her another round of applause. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be a lot of things asked of you today. There's going to be a lot of things asked of you today. We're asking, voter registration is very important. Very important. Those parents that are here that have those kids in your household that are now turning 18 years of age, it's critical that you get them registered to vote. It's critical.
Also, for the ones who committed crimes, they can be reinstated.
Yes,
Right. They do their homework.
Absolutely.
They paid their dues.
Great point.
Go and educate yourself. If you got a criminal history, go to the voter registration, pull the information, and clear yourself. Get
All right.
yourself reinstated to vote.
Thank you. Very good point. Those that are out there that are ex-felons, there's also an opportunity for you to get reinstated where you can have your voting rights and make a change. Again, just get it notarized. Thank you. Thank you for that input. At this particular time, we're going to have a representative come up that's representing our United States Congressman Stephen Horsford. Las Vegas, put your hands together for his community liaison, my friend, Mr. Dietrich Sanford.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm proud to stand here on behalf of our first African-American Congressman Stephen Horsford, representing us, the Nevada Sports District. So I'm proud to be here on his behalf. And we understand that he is recovering at this time, but of course this is an issue that, not that he's brain dead, and he's able to continue to understand what's going on. And I have a few remarks on his behalf to read for you all today, and we appreciate you, each and every one of you all being out here. And he states, President Obama's historic comments yesterday about Trayvon Martin represent an opportunity to have a meaningful conversation in our country. The tragic death of Trayvon Martin and the resulting trial, having exposed feelings and distrust and disparity about our justice system, must be addressed. He can relate to President Obama's personal reaction and how he feels from an African American's perspective. It could have been him too, 25 years ago, as an African American male growing up. He recalls the angst of when he felt when he was driving, shopping in a store, or even walking home late at night. He recalls fearing that he could become a statistic, that by the age of 25, either dead or in jail. As a parent of 3, including 2 young boys, he knows that they have bright futures. And as the president said, we've made progress, but progress does not mean we've closed the book. All children deserve to walk home from a convenience store, having done nothing wrong, free from fear and being profiled, harassed, or killed. That's not a future any parent wants for their child. Those participating, like you, here today and across the country, in non-violent demonstrations and vigils, should continue to pay tribute to Trayvon Martin's family in a peaceful manner. As a nation, we must work together to understand and address the complicated and historical circumstances surrounding this tragedy, because too many young black men have already paid the ultimate sacrifice. We should review state laws like Stand Your Ground and Stop and Frisk. We must address barriers to fair and equal employment, education, and housing. We need to mentor and teach our young boys. We need to mentor and teach our young boys to become men who exercise good judgment and provide for their families as they grow. And most importantly, we must continue to improve our society and live up to our civil ideals. Congressman is prepared to do his part, and he looks forward to working along with you, his colleagues on Capitol Hill, to make sure that these ideals become a reality. Thank you all this afternoon.
All right, we want to thank you, Dietrich, and also thank the congressman and, of course, speedy recovery. We appreciate him. All right, we're going to keep this show rolling. We have a lot of speakers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we do have waters. If you guys could just pass the waters along in an assembly line fashion, make sure when we empty the water, make sure we have somebody dropping waters. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, thank you. We do have waters for those of you guys in the back. Water is on its way. Thank you. All right, at this point, we're going to bring up some of our youth from the community and hear from their perspective. We want to welcome the youth, and we always want to make sure that we get their perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, supporting the Quiet Storm Youth Advisory Council, please show a round of applause for CC Kilgore. Come on, CC.
Wow. How you guys doing? All right, that's awesome. I was told this was a youth rally, so I came representing myself as a young person. I'm here to speak to the youth here today. So adults, I'm sorry, this is not specifically for you. It's specifically for my young people, I'm saying. 3,300,000. 80% of an entire youth population. 750. 367,678. 285,000. 3,300,000 young people dropped out of school last year. 80% of the youth population was killed because of